being present, I will call the meeting. Oh, yes, now we're recording the meeting. So time being 6:05, quorum being present, I'll call the meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission to order. Can everybody hear me all right? I'll accept a yes from anybody at this point in time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can everybody? Okay, good. All right, excellent. Thank you. Okay, before we get started, I have to read the governor's order. So pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people who may gather in one place, this meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public can be found on the Town of Freetown website, freetownma.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website or YouTube channel an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to take the agenda out of order again because this is an off meeting night. We've got other commitments by other folks. So that being said, and just to clarify, also we had a meeting the other night. We didn't have a quorum, but as the chairman, my duty is to call those public hearings to order and to open any associated public hearings. So I did that the other night, and I continued all of them to tonight's meeting. So that being said, I'm going to take item number 7, and that's a continued notice of intent for 41 Water Street. That is in response to a restoration order via enforcement order for the property. So I will call that continued notice of intent public hearing back to order. First things first, I'd like to apply. Is John with us now?
I'm here.
All right.
There were some environmental issues and concerns that were raised amongst
Are there people? It sounds like there's some background noise going on.
I have my other meeting going on at the same time to make sure.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. Okay. I know you got two things going at once. All right. So I just want to apologize, John. There was some misunderstanding, miscommunication, and quite honestly, it was our fault on the last posting. So I do apologize for that and appreciate your patience with that. So for those that are interested in what we're talking about tonight, you can access all the plans via the Town of Freetown's website. If you go freetownma.gov, and then if you click on boards and committees, then you can click on the current Conservation Commission filings. That will be on the left-hand side. You will then see all the plans and information that we will be speaking about tonight. So the first one we have is 41 Water Street. And so, John, if you would like, please go ahead and make your presentation.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Yes. So, Chris, give me the ability to share the screen, please.
You should have it right now.
Excellent.
All right. So I have the plan up on the screen right now, and this was due to the start of the construction of the wall. The contractor had gone out there. He was a little overzealous at the start, and he ripped out some clumps of trees. So he ripped out some clumps of trees at the southwest corner. I have my mouse circling that clump right there. And then he also, on the southeast corner, he ripped out a clump of trees there. And then he stacked them over to the easterly at the property line. And also doing so, he kind of made a mess in the backyard, which he wasn't supposed to. And it was basically because he was looking to start early, and he started prior to the pre-construction meeting that we were going to have on the site. So as soon as we found out, we obviously yelled and screamed at him for him to stop, and he stopped the activity, but it wasn't until after the trees were removed. So we went out there, we located the area that he roughed up, and then we also seen the trees and everything that he removed. And we obviously had spoken with the commission on it. The commission had said they were going to issue enforcement order, which was issued, and then we filed this notice to mitigate that. So in order to mitigate the clumps of trees that he removed, we are proposing a total of, we're proposing a total of 18, and we're gonna do red cedar trees out there. The red cedars, obviously they're a variety of the pine tree. So they will be green basically all year long. As we're the trees that were removed, I believe a couple of them were oaks, and there might have been a couple of maples that were. So we're basically replacing a lot more than what was removed, and what we're replacing them with will stay green all year long. So that'll also help kind of buffer between my client and the neighbors as well. The remainder of the restoration area is going to be the grassed-in area, which will coincide with the other approved plan with the order of conditions, and that is going to get planted with basically a rice seed mix, and also that will be, it'll have the jute mesh on it and hay mulch to keep it intact.
Okay.
So if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
All right, so this is a public hearing, so if there's anybody here from the public or any interested parties that'd like to comment on this or ask a question, just politely get the moderator's attention. You can raise your hand or just speak up. We just ask you to state your name for the record, and then you ask the questions through the chairman, and they will be answered by the applicant. So is there any interested party here? Anybody have any questions or comments? No. I had the fortunate at the meeting the other night, Lori and Jeff, the neighbor there, had showed up and had expressed to me that they were happy with the proposed changes to the plans that we had approved last time. And actually we're looking forward to meeting your client, John. So that being said, if there's nothing else from the public, how about from the board? Does anybody have any comments or questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Charlie, I'm just a little curious as to what the timeline for this activity is going to be.
Good question, Charlie. We can actually set a condition to give them a timeline. I don't know, John, do you have a proposed timeline as far as when this restoration is going to take place?
Yeah, the restoration is going to actually, it's going to, we're looking to plant trees in about 3 weeks. So we're going to be grooming the area out there, I believe, starting next week coming up. So we're going to start the grooming for the restoration Monday morning.
So Charlie, do you think 45 days is, or were you looking more towards 30 days might be, if he's going to be planted in 3 weeks, 30 days might be a little, what do you think?
Well, I think 30 days, I'll give him the later, like 45, because actually, I mean, I know that putting grass and so forth and having it take hold and so forth and planting trees, in the middle of August are not conducive with it actually
right.
gating. My real concern, John, is, and it's no reflection on yourself, is that there's been a long, very long history with this piece of property. And, you know, miscommunications, we'll say, that have occurred. And like I say, it's nothing on you, John, but I like to see what you have put in this plan actually come to volition. And that's my bottom line concern, is that what you propose, what you say that, you know, your client's going to do actually does come to volition. All right. That's really my concern. And I know I'm not a picky person in relation to such things here, but like I said, and it goes beyond your listed property owner here a lot, but that's my concern. That's why I would like to see, you know, a deadline for this to happen, not just, you know, you can say in all good intention, John, this is going to happen, but you don't have the control over it. What I want to see is control over it. And then that's
Hey,
why
Kevin.
Yes, sir.
So I have an idea. Obviously, you know, if this is something that concerns Charlie, then I take it very seriously, because he usually, as you mentioned, doesn't make a concern unless it is a concern. So why don't we do either the 30 or the 45 days? And I know we haven't done this, but I think it's time, you know, we let people know that we're serious, and we could impose a fine on day 46, they pay $100 a day fine. And we use that for our tree fund or whatever it does to make our community better.
Yeah, those, I forget
Great.
exactly what the daily fines are, and there's a process by which we fine. And you're right, we don't typically have to. We don't get into those situations, but they would be subject to that. So I would say this, John, as long as, and again, I hope you understand this isn't a reflection on you, but I'd be willing to say, especially since this is in response to an enforcement order, that the work be completed within 45 days from the issuance of the permit when it's signed. So this will probably get done up, and I'll probably sign it on Monday or Tuesday. So we give you 45 days from that point. If not, you would be subject to any fines that would be available to be placed on it, and subject to an enforcement action again at that time by the Conservation Commission. You have any comments on that, John?
No, well, my only comment is because we're going to be doing the restoration plan, and we're going to be constructing the wall basically at the same time. So 45 days for that is more than adequate. So after the construction of the wall, the trees are going to go up, and then he's going to plant all the grass while he waits for the permit to build a house. So I don't see an issue.
All right. Thank you very much. So that being said, I'll entertain a motion to, if there's nothing else from the board, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion made and supported to close the public hearing. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we have to do a roll call vote. So Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. So now I'll entertain a motion that we approve the plans as submitted with the condition that the work be completed as proposed on the plan, be completed within 45 days or in 45 days of the time that the permit is issued.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll support.
All right, motion made, supported. No further discussion on the motion? Or none? Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Mather.
Aye.
Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. All right, John, I'm going to spare the small talk because we got to move on. So we'll get that permit together and signed and all, and we'll get it out to you early next week, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Just for business purposes, we have a continued notice of intent public hearing for 67 Chase Road and a continued notice of intent public hearing for off Chipaway Road in East Freetown. These are both for large-scale solar installations. I will call both of those public hearings back to order. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have been asked by the applicant's engineer to continue to when our next meeting on the 23rd.
Yes.
Yes, so continue because it is still currently within the peer review process. That being said, and this is the sticky wicket, and I'm just going to bring it up right now. I don't know if excuse me, I don't know if we're going to be asked to go to all Zoom meetings or not. Some of the local towns are making recommendations that if you have the ability to use Zoom, so our Board of Health has not made a decision or a determination on that yet. So I'm stuck with how do we continue this? So I'm guessing. Actually, I don't know. I don't want to continue it to in person and then have it that we have to go by Zoom, and then I have to go through this whole thing again. So. Does anybody have a problem, Charlie or Chris, at this point in time, to just continue it the next meeting until Zoom so we can get clarity on this?
That's fine with me. I think that's the way to go.
Okay. All right. Perfect. I appreciate that, Charlie. So I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearings for notice of intent for both 67 Chase Road and the off Chipaway Road projects to August 23rd, 6 o'clock via Zoom.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support the
All
motion.
right. Thank you. Motion's made and supported. There's no further conversation or discussion. Hear none. All in favor. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Chris
Charlie
Mather,
Sullivan,
aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Perfect. Okay. The next on our agenda, I'm going to try and knock out the two septic system. Well, the one septic system. We have a continued notice of intent for 4 Huron Ave. That's in East Freetown. Again, folks, you can follow along. We have the plans on the website as I described it earlier. You will see it down towards the bottom. So, do we have the applicant here or their representative?
Yes,
Huron Ave.
Matt Groschettel with Outback Engineering, representing the
great.
applicant.
Excellent. Thanks, Matt. So I've called that meeting back to order. This again is a public hearing. We let the applicant make their presentation. After that, we'll open up for public comment or questions from the board. So thank you. Go ahead, Matt.
So the applicant has submitted on behalf of the applicant, we submitted a notice of intent. The applicant is looking to upgrade their existing subsurface sewage disposal system, which is currently a tight tank, to a leaching system to meet Title V and Board of Health requirements. They are going to install a new pump chamber and septic field located across the street from their current residence. This will improve the area by getting rid of a tight tank that they currently have. They acquired some land across the street in order to put a new field across the street, and is sited as far away from existing wells as possible. So we think this would be an improvement over the existing situation that they have at their property.
All right. So you've already perked this. Right. This is right. You can put the system in there. Obviously, you wouldn't have done all this
Yes.
work without a perk test. Right. Right.
Yeah,
So,
yes,
so
it
it's
has been.
suitable for that. All
That's
right.
correct.
One question. This is a notice of intent, Matthew. And do we have a DEP file number for this? Have you received one?
I thought we had received a DEP file number for it.
Okay. I'm just going to apologize again for now. We're still in the process of trying to try and hire staff. We have no clerk right now. So the gentleman there was the moderator tonight, Nils, he's the planning technician. So he's helping us out as much as he can. So I would say this, we'll hold off on that question for a second. Is there any comments or questions from any interested parties? Anything from the board?
No, Kevin,
No, I won't disagree. Yep.
I'm just saying I'm good. Any improvement near water is always good.
Yes, and appreciating the fact that it's very tight down there, and I understand that you're keeping it to 50 feet away as required under a repair, so it's the best case scenario for everybody. If there are no other questions or comments, then what I'm going to do, Matthew, is if we already have the DEP file number, if you can provide it to our office, so I'll entertain a motion because I believe we may already have it also. I just didn't know what the number was.
Yeah, I believe, Mr. Chairman, I
Yes,
believe that there has been a file number issued for it. I just don't have it in front of me right now, but I believe there was
that's
one.
all right. Again, doing the Zoom thing, these little things. So I'll entertain a motion that we approve the plans as submitted, pending certification that we've received the DEP file number.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Supported.
Right, motion's been supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, Matthew, we'll get that out as soon as we can, as soon as we confirm that DEP file number. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much.
Great. Yes, thank you. Okay, we got an RDA that I'd like to knock out next, if we could. We have two RDAs. First one we're going to do is for 6 Short Street. That's a RDA. The scope of work is to construct a 24 by 23 and a half addition to the existing structure to create a new family room. Proposed addition is approximately 70 plus feet from the resource area. All work is located within an existing landscaped area. Again, you can find those plans. They are 6 Short Street. It's a drawing there. Do we have anybody here, representative from 6 Short Street, either the applicant or their engineer?
We do, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, how are you, sir? Is just for the record, sir, your name?
Tim Pillarella, representing the property, the project.
Outstanding. Thank you, Tim. I recognize your voice, but not everybody might have. So, I had the fortunate luxury of you when you brought the plan down to review the plan, and then I went out on site. And if anybody is familiar with the Asona Bay Shores, there are some areas where there is just a drastic drop off. I'm trying to figure it out on your plan. You can see it steep there, on the side there. So. This is, while it may be 75 feet away from the wetlands, it's on a plateau about, oh goodness gracious, 0 to like about 35 feet, 30 feet above that elevation. Well, you can see elevation 31. So yeah. So Tim, is there anything you'd like to add, if you would?
So pretty much what was filed in the report, the construction proposed is a small addition of a family room. It is set well back from the resource area, about 70 feet. And as you mentioned, we are 30 feet above elevation from that resource area. There's other barriers to be put in place that were spelled out by our engineers to mitigate any negative effects of the construction. Silt fences spelled out in the drawing. And as it's mentioned, we're working in the landscaped area. And when we're done, everything's going to be loomed and seeded and restored to the original conditions.
Okay. Pretty straightforward. It's just, that you are within 100 feet. So again, you've got the proposed silt sock that's going around the entire area. Which way do you think most of the construction is going to come in from? Short Street or?
It's going to be coming in from Short Street through all the stagings on the existing gravel drive. So in that area, that is, in question, we don't expect any heavy equipment. The structure is being installed on piers. It's not a full foundation being dug.
Oh,
so
okay.
That goes towards a further step taken by us to try to mitigate any negative effects of this project.
Appreciate that. So, All right, this is an RDA, so it's not a public hearing, but I always ask if there's anybody that's got a comment or question on this. If not, anybody from the board have any comments or questions? No? Okay. That being said, then, and again, do appreciate the fact it looks like you've proposed a silt sock for virtually the entire length of your yard. So everything will be protected. And again, you're going to loam and seed. I don't see that note on the plan. It may in fact be within the RDA filing itself. So I'll entertain a motion to issue a negative determination number 3, that while the activity is within a buffer zone to a resource area, that it will not dredge, alter, or fill the resource area, so is not required to file a notice of intent, with the condition that the area, once construction is done, be loamed and seeded and returned back to its previous condition.
I'll make that motion.
Excellent.
I'll support it.
Thank you. Motion's made and supported. If there's no further discussion on the motion, hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan?
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather? Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Pillarilla.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
I'm just getting, for a layman, you made a presentation better than some of the people that have come before us. So good job. You might actually have a second career someday.
We're going to see you again very soon on one of these.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Take
All right.
care.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, so next we have an RDA that's been submitted by Eversource, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So we have a South Main Street project from the Assonet substation to Ridge Hill Road. The applicant is Eversource Energy. Town of Freetown is the owner because it's within the roadways, installation of underground utilities and roadways. Do we have any representatives here from that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, for the record, this is Amanda Houle with Ty and Bond. James Clancy, the applicant with Eversource, is also here this evening with us.
Okay, so we have Amanda and James. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much. If it's
so-
all right, I can
Sure.
share my screen with the plan if that helps.
Yeah, that would be great. And the reason why I think we had you come in and do an RDA, right? And why it's only an RDA, I think to oversimplify the point is that it's you are a utility, and being a public utility, you are exempt from certain things. So I had asked that while you make the presentation, that you just explain that exemption, if you will, briefly, just just to educate us and the general public, should they be listening.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So our
Thank you.
proposal involves the installation of an underground electric distribution line from the existing Assonet substation right here on South Main Street, where I'm circling with my mouse, if you're able to see that. And then this red dashed line is an approximation of the conduit that's going to be installed within the existing roadway. So we'll follow South Main Street within the road, all the way down approximately to, zoom things is in the way here, all the way down to the intersection just about with Ridge Hill Road. So that's about a 5,200 linear foot underground conduit installation. Under the Wetlands Protection Act, in-road utility installations are exempt if they are in riverfront area or buffer zone. So this project is by and large exempt from the Wetlands Protection Act. However, a small portion of this project corridor falls within the 100-year flood zone, which, as you're aware, is also a jurisdictional area under the Wetlands Protection Act. So the flood zone areas are near this stream crossing here, as well as near this perennial stream crossing down here. So we have about 2,500 square feet of trenching within the roadway falling within the flood zone. So that technically triggered the need for an RDA filing, while most of this project is largely exempt. So in terms of the conduit installation, it's entirely within the existing paved road. The trenching will be probably about 2 feet wide by 3 feet deep. Crews will just excavate only that which they can complete and backfill within the same workday, so no trenches will be left open overnight. Erosion controls, while not shown on this plan, we describe them within our RDA narrative, will be installed along the edge of roadway in the form of straw wattles or other methods at the commission's discretion, anywhere we are working adjacent to a resource area or within the buffer zone. So you can anticipate to see erosion controls pretty consistently along this kind of first half of the project corridor, as we'll be working within buffer zone riverfront area and near those bordering vegetated wetlands and stream crossings. So once the conduits are installed, we'll be backfilling the roadway as we go along, and just repaving and patching. And manholes will also be installed along the conduit just to provide access for long-term future maintenance of the conduit, so they can get down in there without opening up the roadway. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. I know you're tight on time tonight, so I would like to turn it over for questions.
Sure, thank you very much. So the work as proposed is all within the paved way. And again, thank you for the explanation on the exemption. It is interesting that they don't exempt it from the flood zone. So the one question I do have, I understand that Eversource is currently in conversation with the town relative to the installation of this project. And I know that there's going to have to be some investigation relative to where the existing utilities are located on. I guess my greater question is, if you are caused to then derivate from the paved way, if you will, and go outside of the paved way, and then I'm thinking more where you have to cross culverts, if you would then have to go under the river or stream, if you will, you would then have to file some sort of amendment or a change of plans with us. Is that not correct?
Absolutely. Any deviations from this is the plan of record that you have received. So if you choose to vote and approve this, this is what you're approving. So any changes or deviations we understand would need review and approval by the commission.
Okay, excellent. All right, anybody from the board have any questions?
I'm good, Kevin.
All right, thank you. Again, just understanding that otherwise this wouldn't have come before us, but because it is within the flood zone, that's why. So, all right, well, much like the last RDA, I will entertain a motion to issue a negative determination. And Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, that is what you're looking for, right? Negative determination number 3?
Yes, please. Yes.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to issue a negative determination number 3, that it is in a buffer zone to a resource area, but will not dredge, alter, or fill said resource area, so a filing of notice of intent is not required, in addition to the exemptions as provided within the Wetlands Protection Act for this type of utility work.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Motion made, supported. If there's any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan?
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather?
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Demaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, Amanda. James, probably the easiest meeting you're ever going to go to, buddy.
Thank you so much for your time.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks again. All right. So next on our agenda, we have 2 notice of intents. They are separate projects. So do we have the applicant or their engineer here from SciTech for the 0 rear Simmons Street?
Yep.
Anybody?
Mr. Chairman, Jon Connell, SciTech Engineering.
Hi, John. Excuse me. As you heard, we're good. I'm fine, thank you, John. I'm trying to be polite at the same time. I'm trying to be efficient, if you can appreciate that.
Yep.
We have to kind of get through some of these things. I understand that it's still going through some peer review, but you kind of just wanted to give us an update on where you are so far with these. Again, these are a public hearing, so you can find the plans on our website. And the one we're talking about now is rear Simmons Street. So, John, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, we're gonna have to continue both of them. As you stated, we're going through the review process. We received a peer review letter for both projects. We've got a handful of comments left to address, and we've done some extra digging out on the site on Gurney.
Okay.
This is Simmons, but we're basically.
Yeah,
we're in
so
the
I've only
process
called,
of addressing both of
John,
them.
I've only, apologize again, but I've only called Simmons to order, so we'll just call that one to order, and you can let us know what your thoughts are on that one. If there's not much to talk about on that one, then we can just
Yeah.
move on to the next one, and I can call
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one to order. You just let me know.
Yeah, we'll request the continuance on Simmons. We've made changes to the plans, but we still have to make a few
Okay.
more. We're in the process
Perfect.
of compiling the response to the peer review, and we'll have that in hopefully very early next week.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. So that being said, and I don't know if you heard, but we're going to be continuing this to Zoom until we get further direction from our local Board of Health. So if there's anybody here that has any question or comment on this? No, again, still in peer review. So I'll entertain a motion that we continue the public hearing for 0 Rhea Simmons Street, proposed solar array, to August 23rd, 6 o'clock via Zoom.
So moved.
Thank you.
Supported.
Thank you. Motion made, supported. There's no further discussion. Hearing none. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. All right. Item number 6, I will call that back to order. This is a continued public hearing for notice of intent for 23 and 25 Gurney Road. This is again for a proposed large-scale solar project. And you can also find that set of plans on our website. Again, my understanding, this is in peer review, John. So what do you have to bring us tonight on this?
Same as Simmons. They requested some additional test pits. We completed those yesterday, and we're in the process of preparing our response letter to their comments, and hopefully we'll have that again in early next week, and it'll address all their concerns.
Okay, I know there was some, that's the project where there was an accessibility issue, meaning there's some sort of easement or right of way, if you will, to get out to some conservation property, I believe, out back. You are addressing those concerns in your plans?
Yep, we included a 6-foot path around the perimeter of the fence, so you wouldn't have to enter the actual facility, and it would connect the existing access from the existing drive in the back behind the buildings all the way around and out to the town parcel in the back there. It's shown on the plans, hopefully, that is
right.
Satisfactory to the town.
Well, 6 foot might seem a little bit narrow to me. I'm just wondering, if that's what your proposal is, okay. But there may be comment more so on the planning board side of things, not on the conservation side, although it is our access. So if you could just figure out what is the access that is presently there, if we could have very similar to that. 6 foot, it seems a little narrow, John. And I'm just thinking, if in the future we had to get out there with something, so if you can give that some consideration, that would be great.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So does anybody from the general public have any questions or comments on this project? No? Okay. If there's nothing from the board, then I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to August 23rd, 6 o'clock via Zoom.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'll support the motion.
Thank you. Motion's being supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Okay, thank you again, John. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, looks like we've got through that. Next on our agenda, we have a discussion on the condition list for 32 Middleborough Road solar project. Do we have anybody here for that? Any representative here tonight for that?
I don't
Probably
see anybody.
That's fine. No, because we didn't ask them to show. This was, we had discussed, and we had already approved the plans, and we had discussed the conditions, but we'd asked that they write them down. The conditions were written down and presented to both the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board. The Planning Board approved them last night. And basically, this is just a continuation of the approval process that we need to just approve the conditions as aforementioned, but presented in writing now. These are on the website, so if you haven't had a chance to read them, if you want to look at them, I've looked at them. I don't have any there. And again, they were presented to the planning board last night too, and there was no issues with them. So if nobody has any, yeah.
I'm fine with Kevin, if you're asking.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So then I'll just, I'll take a motion that we accept and approve the written submitted conditions for the solar project at 32 Middleborough Road.
So
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion made and supported. If there's no further discussion on the motion, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Okay, excellent. Next on our agenda, we had another applicant, Craig Butler, as a part-time gatekeeper. What we need to do is we need to vote to appoint Mr. Butler pending any reference checks or any background checks or whatever it is that the Selectman's office needs to do.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I need a second.
Chris, you're muted.
Chris, you're muted, buddy. If not, all right. What happened to Chris? Well, I'll second that. I hope we didn't lose him. Is he still with us, Nils?
He's still here. He's just muted.
All right. So I can keep going. All right. If you can. All right, I'll text him to unmute himself. Maybe he needs to do that. I know he's going to go into a meeting. So motion's been made. I'll second the motion. Motion's made and supported. So if there's no further discussion on the motion, hearing none, I'm texting him now. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Chris, are you with us? What happened to him? Don't do this to me now. Can you see him or you just see his phone number?
You just see your phone number.
Yeah.
So close. They really are. God bless him.
Kevin?
I just text. Yeah, you back? All right.
Sorry.
Chris, no worries. You were muted for half a second. No, what we did was, and I don't know how much you heard, but there was a motion made and supported to appoint Craig Butler as a part-time gatekeeper, subject to any background checks or query checks or whatever it is that the selectmen do. So you've got 2 affirmative votes. I just need your vote on that.
Certainly. I will support that motion.
All right. Thank you. So you are voting in the affirmative. Thank you very much. So Chris Mather says that. All right. Last but not least, well, 2 more things. Mike McHugh, you with us, buddy?
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. I know I'm trying, buddy. I know you're waiting for your dinner just like I am.
Don't worry. Keep going.
All right. So we have discussion on the open space consultants correspondence, which leads us to the actual D, which is discussion on potential warrant articles to submit for October special town meeting. Additionally, as a point of note, he's got some other good news for us too. So about the alternate members. So Mike, if you would.
Sure. The first item, as Kevin mentioned, you had petitioned the state over a year ago to allow for 2 alternate members to try and alleviate some of the quorum problems that you've been having. So several years ago, the Conservation Commission had 7 members. It was cut to 5 because there were quorum issues. 5 is still causing some quorum issues. As a group, you had kind of not wanted to go down to 3 because that was too few people. So you had petitioned to allow yourselves to have 2 alternate members. That was approved on Tuesday, and we saw notice of that today. So those positions will be advertised. In addition to the general vacancy that you have, the 2 alternate positions will be advertised. The alternate members will be able to sit if somebody is absent, or if there is a vacancy, they can sit until the vacancy is filled. If somebody has a conflict of interest, they can sit in that person's place. It's essentially like having a substitute teacher, substitute Conservation Commission member. So that's good news for you guys.
Yeah, Mike, and the benefit of that, not to cut you off, but the benefit of that is it's not like having a 7-member board where you would need to have 4 people for the quorum. You still only need 3 people for the quorum, which
Correct.
is why it's a benefit to have, right. So we can still only have 3 people in a pinch like we have been recently, but 1 or 2 of them can actually be the alternates. So
Right.
that's where it's going to help us.
Yeah, you still need 3 people, but you have 7 people to pick those 3 out of now instead of 5.
Right. Right.
So that'll be terrific.
Next thing, Mike, sorry.
No, that's cool. I had sent you guys a memo about 3 weeks ago or so with 3 potential warrant articles for the fall town meeting. And I don't know, I hope you all have seen the memo thing by now, but I will just run through that quickly. The town foreclosed through tax title on an 8.74 acre parcel of vacant land on Middleborough Road that is sort of between Cathedral Camp and the boat ramp. When the last tax auction was put forward, a conscious decision was made upstairs, corner office, if you will, not to include this parcel of land in that auction. There was some consideration to subdividing it and selling it as multiple lots, retaining it for one reason or another, what have you. Since a decision to not sell it had been made, it's just sort of out there up for grabs. And it is on Long Pond. It is primarily wetland. It is something that you guys may want to consider adding to your arsenal of open space. If you take out the very middle of town around Proprietor's Way, most of what you've acquired lately has been in a sonnet, so this would, give you an opportunity to acquire something in East Freetown and kind of maintain the balance. So that is one of the 3. I don't know if anybody has questions, if you want me to go through all 3 of them first, or how you want to do this.
No, so the only I would, you are our open space consultant. I just want to make sure that's clear to everybody. An unpaid position,
Yeah.
and you do yeoman's work for us. So God bless you, right? In addition to everything else. So my only concern, and I have no problem trying to get that but if we take it under the Conservation Commission, then it could never be developed in the future. As long as I don't want it to be that we are stepping on some sort of master plan. If I don't know, and so I would say that so long as the selectmen are fine with the disposition of this, going to the Conservation Commission, then yes, I would wholeheartedly support that.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, if you submit the article, then hopefully they would then talk about it, and that would give them the opportunity to pull it off.
And I guess that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, it's not something that I think we should, if there's some sort of a plan for it in the future, then clearly we don't want to take it under conservation, but yes, I have no problem with that, and we would obviously do that in consultation. So what was the next one? I had it right here.
Oh, I think either Charlie or Chris may have had a question.
Excuse me, it's Charlie.
Well, then, yep.
Mr. Chairman, through you, I'm just wondering how much of that land that we just spoke of is upland?
Let me take a quick look on the map, and I will give you an estimate. So the land is 8 3/4 acres. And if I turn the wetlands layer on our maps here, it's, if you're familiar with it from the boat ramp, it kind of stretches long and narrow down toward Cathedral Camp. The widest area, the area closest to the boat ramp and where the frontage is primarily wet. To get to the upland, you would have to come in off the road and then turn sharply south and stretch down into it. It looks like the area that's wet is, if I do the measurement, that is approximately 3 acres. And then after that, there is about another 2 acres that may be upland but is within the flood zone. Actually, maybe closer to 2.5.
Okay, I think I'm pretty familiar with the piece of property. So it's to the south of the boat ramp, correct?
Yes, this is the one that has the driveway that cuts through it to go to those 2 houses behind Cathedral Camp.
Right, okay. And so this land would be to the north side of that driveway, correct?
The whole 8.5 acre, 8 3/4 acres, the driveway sort of runs right through the middle of it. So the wet area, the definitively wet area is to the north. It's between the driveway and the boat ramp. The flood zone crosses the driveway and continues south, almost out to Middleborough Road again.
Okay, so in actuality, this is the properties, those 2 properties we just spoke of are accessed through the property in question, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. I got a feel for what's going on. Okay, I just wanted to have that.
Sure. No, very good questions. No, that was great. So by consensus, right, we're okay with that then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we should put forward. I mean, there is only the one thing is like, that driveway is a little bit of a can of worms, if you ask me. But that's something to be worked out by other people beyond my pay grade, so to speak. Not to,
That, you got. I was gonna say that part of it is beyond our pay grade, but just the and to Mike's point, any acquisition of land is good in my opinion. If we can get it, and protect an 8.5 acre area around a secondary drinking water resource, that's great. And now we have control over development over there. So all those things are good. Mike, you had said there's 2 more.
Well, there are 2 more in your memo. The second one was about appropriating money to the land fund. I'm going to suggest that you hold off on that until the spring.
Okay.
The premise behind that was that it would take money that was taken in through the rollback tax on previously undeveloped property and appropriate it to the land fund. The problem is that this money that was assessed, this just shy of $50,000, that was involved with a solar project, and the solar company has kind of dug its heels in and they've not actually paid it yet. So that money doesn't exist to appropriate it at the current time.
Not yet.
Not yet. So it will eventually, but it's not there yet. So you want to hang on to that article till the spring, probably.
Yeah, put that on the back burner till spring, till annual.
Right. The third one was the third one was an update for the zoning map. You do this periodically between Conservation Commission and the state. There's been quite a bit of open space that's been acquired. There's actually one that I accidentally omitted from that list. That's part of where the state is building you the walking path from Forge Road to the Ice House.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the rail trail, if you will.
Right. So I have a note to add that to that list. That was on the first page. Those.
I hate to do this to you, but our third member has to go. So, do we need to make a motion on this tonight? No, We just need to
Yes.
forward these to the select.
Well, you
we
need to
them-
decide that you're going to turn these articles in or not, because the articles are due Monday.
Okay, so that being said, I'll entertain a motion to forward the first and the third articles to the selectmen for consideration to be put on the fall town meeting, the October special town meeting warrant.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll
Thank you.
support the motion.
Thank you, Chris. I'm getting you out of here, buddy. Motion made, supported. No further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. I have one last thing that we need to do. Approve the meeting minutes from April 12th, April 26th, and May 10th. So I'll entertain a motion that we approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, and if it's appropriate, I did miss one of those meetings, Mr. Chairman, so I'll second it if it's appropriate, but you know more about.
Yeah, you can say as long as you read them, understood them, and you don't take exception or issue with any of them. I've also read them. If you feel more comfortable, Charlie, I'll second that motion,
Okay.
and then to approve those. If there's no further discussion on that motion, I'll do a roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Unless there's somebody still on the line, any other business properly coming before the commission? All right, hearing that, I again thank you guys. I know it was an odd night, and Chris, I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Chris.
Sure.
Folks, stay safe. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
I'll make the. Yep. I'll support it.
Second. Excellent. Motion made and supported. No further discussion. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Passes unanimous. Again, thank you all. Be safe. We'll talk to you on the 23rd.
All right.
Bye now.
Take care.